Hello everyone, Reggie Time here, and today we're going to be looking at some hands that one of my students recently played. He's a new student to me. He took advantage of the £100 for 10-hour session promotion that I recently ran. That promotion is still running kind of passively. If you guys do want to come and get some help with your game, I can definitely still extend that promotion to you. And this is one of the guys who recently come to me. He plays in the same pools as me on AAA. He's aware of who I am, and he kind of just contacted me, reached out to just get me to look at some of his hands and look at what's going on with his game, because he kind of feels that he's not doing as well as he could do. So yeah, we're going to quickly look at some hands, and I'm going to show you the kind of work I do with people that come my way. So if you ever have been considering getting some person-centered help with your game, this is just a very brief snippet of the kind of stuff that we do. So yeah, we're not going to show you the person's name. This is going to be blued out, this area here, so you're not going to show who he is, because it's not fair to show who he is. He's happy for me to do this. I've got his permission to do this, but naturally he'd rather not have his screen name shared. So in a moment, when we've done this very short intro, we're going to move on to the poker hand replays to review the hands, so it can all be done anonymously. But what I did, I just asked him to send me some hands. He just basically played 2 sessions and sent me the hands from 2 sessions. My first impression is he's playing a little bit too nitty, but by all accounts he was mixing some full ring here at the same time to like top up his snap tables. He was playing 3 tables of 30-0 snap and some 20-0 and 30-0 full ring, I think. So his stats are going to be a little bit skewed because of the full ring element. But yeah, it looks a little bit on the weak tight side. Let's have it right. He's winning an awful lot of showdown, which is nice. It's always nice to have that. But what I did, because I kind of thought, I know this player's game, and I think he's a little bit passive on later streets, so I just ran a quick filter. And the filter being hands he's checked on the river that he's also won. So we're going to put one hand true, put that into the filter, and I'm not going to do that now because I've already marked the hands, but that's the filter that I use for this particular video, for this leak finding. Basically all the winners he's checked, and it's come up with, like, there's more hands than 6, but a lot of the winners he checked were fine, you know. But these are like 6 hands that I've identified where he's checked winning hands, and we're going to look at them all through Poker Hand Replay in a moment, just to see if we can identify any areas where he definitely could have got some more value. So yeah, we're going to move on to the Poker Hand Replayers now and look at the hands. So here we are with the hand review part of this leak finder, and we're just going to quickly look at the hands that the filter identified and see just what's going on. So this first hand, our hero has 2 8s, calls an open, he bets versus a skip c-bet, seems entirely reasonable. Turn comes a 4, player checks again. Oh, our opponent checks. Our hero checks, sorry. We just need to keep betting here. It's just way too likely our opponent just has 2 overcards or 6x, 7x, pocket 5s, etc. Just get value, just bet your hand. You know, if you get raised, then, you know, you reevaluate, but the chance of him raising here is slim. The most likely thing is he check folds, second most likely thing is he check calls. The least likely thing is that he check raises, but that's, I guess, what our hero here and many of the players are scared of. They're scared of getting check raised on turns and getting blown off their equity. But if we get check raised here, we just have 2 8s. It's not the end of the world. We can just fold our hand, or if you think your opponent's spewy, you can make some call downs, who knows. But yeah, just checking back here to avoid being put to the test by a raise is a bad play. Then we get the river 9, our opponent checks again, and we should absolutely be value betting that river. We just get value from 7x, 6x, maybe pocket 5s, hero calls us after we check the turn. Checking 1 street with this hand, I can kind of get on board with, maybe. I don't like it, but I think it's not too bad. We maybe only have a 2 street hand, but only getting 1 street with a 2 street hand, it's just bad for us. So we either miss out on improving our winnings by getting called by worse, or we just basically have more of our winnings go in our blue line than our red line. And for you guys who are interested in improving your line, lots of the times it's spots like this where you can find the improvement. Yep, all you're doing is directly transferring profit from blue line to red line. But since red line going down at a rate of knots is such a confidence sapper for so many players, just having that kept, or at least managing the decline in your red line, is going to be really good for your confidence. So we just bet our hand here, and we either get paid off by worse and we make more money, or we we just bolster our red line. Either way, it's a good outcome. And it looks like, as usual, Poker Hand Replays has been a little bit stubborn, so we'll just quickly refresh it and move on to the next hand. So in the last hand, our opponent showed up with Ace-Jack, which wouldn't have called the river, probably not, but nevertheless, I think the point is still valid. So we now move on to this hand. We have the Ace-7 off in the big blind. We flop an open end, and we lead out. Reasonable play, given our draw and our backdoor equity. No issue with that. We make a straight on the turn. We bet again. Brilliant. It's looking good so far. We get another call. And then we check the river. And I kind of know why this is happening. He's probably thinking it's going to be hard to get paid by worse, because the 4-2 is straight out there, and he wants to give diamonds a chance to bluff. Kind of get that, but the problem with that is a lot of his diamond hands are going to have a pair on this board, and we have the nut flush, we have like the nut blocker, or the nut flush draw blocker. So a lot of his diamond hands are going to be maybe something like, who knows what, 6, 9 of diamond, who knows what, but some of his diamonds are going to have pairs, and that's the problem. He's going to just be able to check back way too many hands. He's going to have 2 pairs he can check back with. Maybe he's limped an over pair, he's checking back with that 8x pocket, who knows. There's like tons of hands it's just going to have showdown value that aren't going to want to bluff. So I think we just need to bet here and bet fold, and about the hate life if we get raised. I think it's super unlikely we're going to get raised with just a 7. You know, maybe sometimes we get blown off our hand if he just goes all in with some kind of weird miss flush draw. But it's just so unlikely. The most likely event here is we bet and our opponent either folds or calls. So again, we either improve our green line or we improve our red line. Both fantastic results. But just checking and hoping our opponent bluffs in the micro stakes isn't usually going to be a good way to go about playing our hands. So our opponent did check back, and yeah, he showed 2 pairs. We absolutely missed value on that hand. We could have improved our green line in that hand for sure. So we open the Queen 10 of spades here. We get a call. Opponent leads out. We obviously call, I guess, with our pair and flush draw. We have the second nuts here, so we call again. And on the river, our opponent checks to us, and we check back. We need to be betting here. If player 7 is checking the king of spades to check raise, then fuck our lives. We just fold to a check raise. Again, this is the spot where it's not going to be too easy to get value from worse, because it just looks like our opponent's got some kind of 2 high card combo. It's unlikely, given the line he's taken, he's going to have a worse flush. So we're just going to fold a lot when we bet, but we still need to bet. We have the second nuts. We've no reason to believe our opponent has the nuts, because he hasn't bet the river. And these situations go check so often when you're the guy that's out of position and whatever. It's just so unlikely that he has the king of spades. We just need to be betting our hand again here. Try and get some value. If we don't get value again, we transfer some of our profit from our blue line to our red line, which we talked about earlier. There's benefits to that, mostly confidence, and also just being harder to play against for your opponents. We just need to bet here. It's just so likely we have the best hand. We're not too likely to get called by worse very often, but you never know. I mean, people play bad. If he's just got, I don't know, 3 9s here, or ace queen, or ace jack, or something like that, queen jack, maybe he just puts a call in if we bet $2, who knows. But we definitely need to bet here for sure. We check back, and our opponent did have the queen jack, and I think we bet $1.80, $2.20 there, something like that. I think we sometimes get a call, and if not, we get the fold. Either's a good result. We isolate a limper here with pocket aces. make a C bet. I think we could have preferred to see make a bit bigger bet, but it's fine. We get raised. We call the raise. No issue with that at all. Everything seems standard so far. We check, and opponent checks. So yeah, we need to bet this river, and we already know that we check and win because that's what the filter says. But think about the hands that's like raised this flop that didn't bet the turn. It's going to be hands like maybe, because the guy's limped in, he's limped and then raised a flop, so now it looks like he's got hands like pocket nines, pocket eights, pocket tens, pocket jacks, maybe pocket sixes, maybe ace 5, maybe ace 7, stuff like that. So we're going to lose to ace 7, but there's so many hands that we're just way ahead of here. We just need to bet, and again, there's like, it's quite a big pot here. I just bet like $4 and just hope he doesn't fold pocket nines, pocket tens, pocket jacks, pocket eights. Super unlikely we're going to get raised here. We block like the nut flush draw, raising us. Sorry, someone like bluffing us with the nut blocker. I mean, really, are we expecting him to raise the set on the flop and check back the turn and now raise it on the river with the boat? Could happen. Super unlikely. His range is much more weighted to just like overpairs to the flop that got scared on the turn, and we just need to bet to get value here. And depending on how stationary you think he is, you could bet anything from $5 up to full pot, who knows, depending on how bad you think that your opponent is here. But we should certainly be betting this river, checking this river, and I'm guessing probably with the intention of calling, I think, to really poor play. And I think we just, if we're going to check call this river, we should certainly bet, and I think we should just certainly bet this river anyways. But we did check, as we know. Our opponent checks back, and he had 2 3s. So obviously our opponent's play is pretty poor in that hand, but our play wasn't great from on the river either. This hand we've raised 2 aces. Everything seems perfectly in order so far. Right, I don't like that. I don't like that. And I don't like that. I have no idea what's going on in this hand. Maybe our opponent, maybe our hero, was multi-tabling. Maybe he didn't even fucking realise he had aces. Maybe he's misread his hand. I have no idea. I haven't spoken to him about this hand. This hand is just like clearly incredibly poorly played, and I'm going to presume our opponent didn't realise, our hero didn't realise he had the hand he had. Maybe he thought he had like a whiffed ace king or something. I don't know. I can only assume this has been playing too many tables, which again is a leak of some players if it's affecting your concentration. I'm going to put this down to him having too many tables going and just misreading his hand. But if this has been a conscious attempt to somehow go for a check raise on the flop, or just check call because he doesn't want to get blown off his hand with a raise, that's clearly flawed thinking. We should just be betting this flop. Then when the turn to a diamond comes, it's not great, but maybe thinking about betting again or check calling, and then if it checks through, betting the river almost for sure. But yeah, this hand looks to me, it probably should have included this hand. It looks like our hero just hasn't realised what his hand is, and he's just misplayed it, just like thinking it's not aces for some reason. And it can happen, we can all do that. Especially when playing too many tables, we just end up making some really silly mistakes by misreading our hand, calling when we shouldn't, checking when we shouldn't. I'm guessing this is one of those situations. So this is the last hand of the video. We have ace king in the small blind, 3-bet. Nope, we just call. So that's the first miss. I think it's definitely too weak. I guess he's thinking because he's up against middle position, he doesn't want to like 3-bet and get 4-bet, but whatever, it's ace king. I mean, it balances our range off nicely with kings and aces and queens and stuff. So just 3-bet, get it in. But whatever, he hasn't done that. He's elected to check, and so we call and then check the flop, which is standard. I guess if you're going to just slow play this hand pre-flop, check into the razor makes more sense. He checks back, we turn trips, we obviously lead out, no issue with that whatsoever. River comes the ace, and we check. I can see what he's doing here. He's hoping to get a check raise in. That's clear what's happening here. But just bet your hand for value. If our opponent's got a flush, he's probably just going to call so we don't get a check raise in against a flush. If he's got a king, he's just going to call. But yeah, again, so yeah, I get it that when he's got a flush or a king, we get to get a check raising. But just bet your hand, because way too often, who knows, maybe our opponent just checks back king 10, king jack here. I mean, he probably shouldn't, but maybe he does. And then we miss tons of value. If he's got a hand like ace queen with some kind of diamond or something, then again, he's just going to check back this river and we miss value. Just get value for your hands, guys. I see players checking hands all the time against me, and sometimes it's a mistake I make myself, you know, especially when you're going through a bad run and things aren't working out for you and you just kind of want to show your hand down. You don't want to bet and risk getting blown off it, but don't be weak tight. Being weak tight is going to make you some money in these games. Unquestionably, you can play like an ABC weak tight game and make money in these games. But if you want to be really good, give a chance of moving up the limits and have a decent win rate, you've got to find the bets. And these are some hands that were just like really, really easy bets. I mean, there was about, when I ran the filter, 19 or 20 hands, maybe more, and there was only like, many of them were fine checks. But we found 6 hands from just like 1,000 or something hand sample where we've either missed value or missed an opportunity to improve our red line. And there's definitely a leak in this player's game that we can hopefully fix quite quickly. And it's going to be a mental game leak, because I have no doubt in a lot of these spots he would have thought, yeah, I've had the best hand, but, and then he'll have some reason for not betting. And that's usually more of a mental game leak than it is actually like a hole in your like poker knowledge of when to bet and when to check. So yeah, it's definitely some work I'll be looking forward to doing with this player going forward. And if you would like to do this kind of work with me and have me analyse your database, help you find your leaks and give you some person-centered coaching, please do get in touch via the contact details beneath the video. If you're watching this from somewhere else, on Facebook or on Reddit or somewhere, please do add me to Skype on reg11174 or email me on reg@holker.st. And I'll be delighted to hear from you. So yeah, please do get in touch if you want to. If not, yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope it's been some use to you. Bye bye for now.